Hello and welcome to round 7 of Grand Prix San Diego. I'm Ben Swartz, joined here in the booth by Marshall Sutcliffe. How's it going, Marshall?
Yeah, I'm doing quite well. Let's see. Uh-oh.
We've got Conley Woods on the left-hand side of your screen playing against Josh Ravitz.
He's playing eggs.
Yeah, Conley looks to be on eggs. It's going to be a fun one to watch.
Oh, but it looks like it's, Josh is playing
the red-green aggressive deck I was talking about.
Deck. Yeah, so that looks like this could actually be an interesting matchup because the red-green deck actually has the ability to put enough pressure on this eggs, as we call it. And we're probably not supposed to call it that, but this artifact combo deck so that it can actually kill it before it can go off. This is a critical turn for Josh Ravitz. It's turn 2, and this is a turn that his deck can become really explosive.
Yep, the Burning Tree Emissary into Goblin Guide.
And he's going to get a trigger, and he's going to attack for 4 right now. He's going to have 2, 4, 6, 8 power on the table, though. There's a trigger from Goblin Guide, which is going to reveal Sleight of Hand.
I mean, this is the kind of start you need against a deck like eggs. I mean, with that Absolutely. Lotus Bloom ticking down, Conley's probably going to win as soon as that Lotus Bloom enters the play, or the turn that it enters play. So Josh has to put this much pressure on Conley. It'll be interesting to see if he's got enough to force through 16 damage next turn. I mean, 8 power sitting there.
Now, for those of you that haven't seen the eggs or Second Sunrise combo deck go, it basically takes forever. You'll hear people kind of groan when they hear about this deck playing against it because it takes a long time to actually get to the point of victory. But it's actually a really interesting combo deck that won Pro Tour Return to Ravnica in Seattle.
Stanislav Sivka won with this deck, the eggs deck.
Right. And it kind of put it back on the map. It's been around for a while in different forms, but this is the current version of it. And I think Conley's going to start with a Sleight of Hand, although he didn't want to. He decided not to crack that fetch first.
Looks like Conley's playing Wargate in his version, which is something that was not in Stanislav Sivka's version, but
no. That's interesting.
It works as kind of another reshape. It's X, blue, green, white. Wargate, that is. Search your library for a permanent with converted mana cost X or less and put that into play, and then shuffle your library.
Right. So he can go get a Lotus Bloom with it, right?
Yes, I believe.
Now, reshape, he needs to get.
So
he has to have an artifact already out, but he can do it still for 0, which is blue. So it costs 1 more than reshape. All right, so Conley he's going to play a Serum Visions here. We see that he has Second Sunrise in his hand, along with a Conjurer's Bauble.
And the second Sunrise.
It's the other one. It's Renewed Faith or whatever it's called.
That's not Renewed Faith.
What is it called? Faith.
I'm blanking on it because nobody's been playing this card. Faith's Reward. There we go. Thank you, Rashad. So Conley ends his turn after that Serum Visions and casting the Conjurer's Bauble. And here we go to Josh Ravitz, 8 power. He's going to smash into the red zone, dropping Conley down to 7, revealing a Lotus Bloom off the top. I mean, I know that Josh has a Gorklan Rampager in his hand. That's only 4 more. He'll just play Seal Fire and pass the turn. Basically saying, Conley, if you can win this turn, you got it. If not, I'm going to win. So.
But he has absolutely put the pressure on Conley to make this happen. We see Josh Ravitz pick up Conjurer's Bauble.
Yeah, so the way the eggs deck works, for those that are not so familiar with it, is you sacrifice all of these artifacts, and then you cast a card like Second Sunrise or Faith's Reward after you've generated a lot of mana, drawn a bunch of cards, to return all those artifacts back into play, and do that again.
Yeah.
One of the problems for Conley here is he only has 3 artifacts will draw him cards, so each loop will only draw him 3 cards and net him 3 mana right now.
Well, he's going to get to go off with Ghost Quarter here as well.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So he gets to tap that island, then use Ghost Quarter to destroy it, putting both of them in the yard, get another island. He can tap that for mana, and when he plays the Second Sunrise or the Faith's Reward, he'll get back both the Ghost Quarter and the island and generate mana that way as well. So that's how you generate mana.
You generate cards with the baubles, the chromatic
baubles,
spheres, Conjure, Elsewhere Flasks.
Right. And Conjurer's Bauble is actually a really important card because it says tap, sacrifice it, put up to 1 target card from your graveyard on the bottom of your library, which means that you can get back things like Second Sunrise, like cards that you're going to cast that don't come back into play from Second Sunrise, and you can also get your win condition back.
Right, so the win condition of this deck is continually looping a Pyrite Spellbomb and a Second Sunrise with 2 Conjurer's Baubles, right?
Right. And you at some point you
or with just a single Conjurer's Bubble.
right, and what you will have done is drawn your entire deck, and you will be able to continually generate mana with and recursion with which to get back your second Sunrises.
So Conley's going to go for it. During his upkeep, he wanted to shuffle away that Lotus Bloom that was on top, so it looks like he used his Ghost Quarter there. And he had another Ghost Quarter.
Fetch land, or was it a Ghost Quarter?
I don't believe... I saw him shuffle, so I don't believe that there are any fetch lands in Conley's deck.
Oh, I thought he had a Misty.
We can look. We've got his... Okay, so he does have 4 Misty Rainforests. I didn't quite see because we were talking about the combo itself, but we're going to see the combo in action right here. Conley's going...
He's going to play a Faith's Reward.
Yeah.
With that on the stack, he can sacrifice the Elsewhere Flask. Or it looks like Josh just maybe wanted to read it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, this is essentially a non-interactive match. Conley is not going to be destroying any of Josh's creatures, and Josh doesn't really have any meaningful ways to interrupt Conley's combo, especially in game 1.
I believe that Josh, one of the common sideboard cards for this red-green deck to have is Burning Tree Shaman, the 3-mana 3/4 that whenever an opponent uses, or a player uses an activated ability, they take 1.
Oh, okay.
Which is pretty powerful against Conley's deck.
Absolutely.
I saw Kate Stavola use it against a Deceiver Exarch Splinter Twin player.
Ah.
But also good here against the Eggs deck. So here you go. You get to see Conley.
Conley has failed to draw another land here, but he has mana floating.
Right, he's got the mana floating. There you see a reshape, which is also really important because he's going to be able to reshape his Elsewhere Flask here and go get another Lotus Bloom. It'll generate him more mana. And then after all of that, he's going to cast Second Sunrise. So while it's not completely over for Josh Ravitz, there's still room for Conley to screw up with 2 Second Sunrise type effects, the Faith's Reward and the normal Second Sunrise.
Right.
He's going to be able to draw quite a few cards, hopefully draw another one of those things, while generating a ton of mana.
Yeah, I mean, he has 3 in his hand right now.
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is going to take a while, though. It's going to be up to Josh. I was talking with BDM about this a little bit earlier, but so these are all the cards that are entering the battlefield right now for Conley Woods. 3 Baubles, 2 Lotus Blooms, and Elsewhere Flask. The Flask is going to draw him a card right now.
But Josh Ravitz fans out there, don't count him out yet. I mean, in the finals of the Pro Tour, Stanislav Sivka against Yuya Watanabe, Stanislav Sivka was in a similar position, looked like he couldn't whiff, and I believe did, and that was in game 3 or 4,
Now, he
right?
was able to get back on the horse and finish him a few turns later, but you're right. He did not complete the combo that turn.
But, I mean, if Conley doesn't combo here, Josh Ravitz has enough damage to win on the following turn. So Conley really needs to win this turn.
Yes. This is the turn. If Conley does not win the game on this turn, then Josh will have won the first game.
So here, Conley continually going through the motions. Josh just sitting there. I mean, there's nothing he can do. He's tapped out.
Yep.
He's got Seal of Fire, but there's no creatures in Conley's deck. So.
And this is where this Egg Second Sunrise deck gets its kind of bad rap. Is that what you'll see is Josh Ravitz, he might want to check Facebook or catch up on some emails, because this is going to take a little while, even though Conley is playing at a really, really brisk pace. I mean, he knows this deck, and he is burning right through these the motions here. It looks like he's already got the Pyrite Spellbomb in hand, but unfortunately that doesn't mean that this game goes any quicker.
Yeah, he still has to go through his entire deck to be able to use those Conjurer Baubles to continually loop Pyrite Spellbombs and Second Sunrises. So
that's right. Now, it's a little bit off camera, but there's a pile that Conley's using that's just a separate part of his graveyard. It really all is his graveyard, but he's putting the cards that are going to end up coming back in. The reshapes and stuff you see in his yard at the bottom are the ones that won't.
Yeah, so he's using both Conjurer's Baubles here just to draw a card, failing to put a card on the bottom. Continually playing more Baubles, drawing more cards. Then finally, when he's completely exhausted of both resources and artifacts, he's going to cast another Second Sunrise. Here he Serum Visions. Conley probably wants to bottom both of those cards because he's just looking for more second sunrises here, right? He seems to have added quite a few. Oh, he's going to put the Elsewhere Flask on top.
Yeah, he's only got one flask.
And it looks like he drew his fourth Lotus Bloom, which is a little unfortunate. He can't use that reshape in his hand to go search it out.
So if you're in Josh's seat, you have a few options. You can just watch your opponent, and make sure that he doesn't screw it up. I mean, you
can check Facebook.
Or you can check Facebook, yeah. Because one of the, Conley, he's obviously a high-level player, and he looks comfortable with this deck, but not everybody is. And this deck is complex to play. This is not an easy deck to just go through the motions on.
I think that once you get to the point where Conley is right now, where you've got a lot at your disposal, going through the motions is pretty trivial. Getting to the point where you're maximizing each and every one of your first or second sunrises, that's really, really important, right?
Yeah.
To get the maximum amount of permanence. But now, Conley's got so many artifacts. He's used Ghost Core, 2 or 3 times now?
Yep.
I think that even if Conley makes a couple of mistakes and doesn't optimize here, he'll still be able to pull it through. I mean, there's a chance that he under-optimizes and then doesn't get deep enough to get an extra second sunrise, but like you said, he's got 2 or 3 in his hand, right?
He has 3 in his hand, yeah.
So, or second sunrise, Faith Reward.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, there's a tiny chance that he miscounts his mana, but I think he's experienced enough to not do something like that. So Josh is reading this. It's actually important because enchantments is one of those things, and it's both players. So Josh can sacrifice his Seal Fire, and Seal Fire will come back.
That's right. And what that means is that it's going to limit the amount of times that Conley can actually do that as Conley drops down to 5 here.
Right, but Faith's Reward, on the other hand, is only Conley. Conley's the only one that gets to return things.
You pay an extra mana for it, but that's what you get for it.
So it was actually smart of Josh to play that Seal Fire on his turn.
Absolutely.
Because now, Conley can't cast 3 more second sunrises. If he does, he's dead.
Yeah.
I guess 2 more. 2 more, he's dead, right? I did it in a way that Elishon's coming to play. So Conley continually drawing cards, drew another Wargate. It looks like he only has second sunrise in his hand as his last one. So that would be the last second sunrise, as we've said before, he can cast. But he gets to draw, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards?
Right.
11, 12. So
there's a Faith's Reward right there.
Yeah, so he'll get to draw 12 plus 12 more. That's 24 cards. He can also use Conjurer's Bauble to start putting Faith Rewards on the bottom. I'm not. I can look at Conley's list to see how many Faith Rewards. Yeah, he's running 4 Faith Rewards. So it seems unlikely that Conley's not going to be able to find enough Faith Rewards to go off here. I know that some of the earlier lists, like maybe a year ago, the people who were playing eggs were only playing 2 Faith Rewards when Faith Rewards first came out. And that would be a little troublesome for Conley. Because with only 2, then you have to worry about only being able to cast, as we've said, 2 second sunrises.
Right.
But here, I mean, Josh is counting Conley's library. It looks like there's under 20 cards there, probably around 14 or 15.
There's a silence for Conley.
There's 10 cards in Conley's library. And 2 Faith Rewards. So I think that's going to be it. And Josh sees the writing on the wall and packs it in. Conley Woods wins the first game here in round 7 of Grand Prix San Diego. There you get a look at the feature match area. We see Conley Woods playing against Josh Ravitz that we just saw. On the back table, Willie Edel facing off against Edel-Yukihiro. And on the side tables, we have David Shields playing against somebody I can't see, Mary Jacobson, and Matt Nass playing against Roberto Gonzalez. Matt Nass is also playing eggs. We've got info from Brian David Marshall. There's another eggs deck that's undefeated here at Grand Prix San Diego, so this could be a second coming of the second sunrise-based deck.
Okay.
BDM also tells us there's a Burning Inquiry deck at 6-0.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's the only person that has any Burning Inquiry, of course, is a red sorcery. It's from M10. Each player draws 3 cards at random, then discards 3 cards.
Yeah, obviously.
Here we get a quick look at the Edel-Yukihiro versus Willie Edel match. Willie is playing Jun, one of his favorite decks.
He does love to play Jun.
And Ken, the only native Japanese player at this tournament, he came because he's on 20 pro points. He really needs to edge out those last pro points. Looks like he is also on a Jun-type deck.
But the one with white, right?
Yeah, he's also running Might of Alara and Tribal Flames. So I think it's a 5-color...
Oh, so it's like a domain deck?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, Shuhei Nakamura, the normal Japanese world traveler, he's at Utrecht this weekend playing with Lucas Drachlovsky and Martin Juza.
Wow, that's a nasty lineup.
I believe they've 1 loss going into day 2, but long tournament there, a lot of rounds, especially in teams, so they've got their work cut out for them for tomorrow. Ken decided that this would be a good tournament for him to come to. He's going to go to this and go to Pittsburgh next weekend. So, yeah, it was a little interesting to see. Ken's not so used to, like Shuhei is, to traveling alone to other countries, and he was talking to Shuhei on Twitter because one of his flights got canceled, and he didn't know how to get here in time and was really, really worried. I think his flight was originally supposed to come into Seattle, and he instead got routed through Minneapolis, and then had to come all the way back here.
That's a long way off.
So,
Fulminator Mage for Willie. Looks like he hasn't activated it yet, though.
But he didn't waste any time while he was sitting in the airport waiting for his flight. He was streaming Magic Online.
Streaming it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Streaming from airport Wi-Fi is hard. I mean, Rashad could do it.
Ken sitting on 2 Tarmogoyfs in his hand. He's going to cast.
Is this going to be Elspeth? What is this?
It's 2 Tarmogoyfs.
Oh, 2 Goyfs, okay.
And then use the Shaman to
hit him for 2 more?
Yeah, looks that way.
What are these 2s that we see here?
Oh, he
flashed back
Lingering Souls.
Okay, yep. So those are actually tokens represented by dice.
Hopefully we can get him some tokens to use, but so Willie's going to play that Overgrown Tomb untapped, taking 2 and casting Thundermaw Hellkite. That will get rid of the Lingering Souls tokens, but Willie wants to be able to block one of those Tarmogoyfs, so he's going to hold the Thundering Hellkite back. Willie on 16 life now.
Thundermaw Hellkite's been doing some work here this weekend. It's killed a lot of Lingering Souls tokens, and it's also blocked a lot, kind of interestingly.
And normally you think of Thundermaw Hellkite as attacking and like starting in play in the red zone, right?
That's right.
But Ken, with no play here, gives Willie the opportunity to do what he wants. I mean,
he's got 5 mana.
Okay, well, we'll let this match finish up. We're going to head back to the Josh Ravitz versus Conley Woods match.
It could be over already.
Yeah. But play has started. Conley Woods starts things off with a Chromatic Sphere. Josh Ravitz.
No turn 1 play?
It looks like
no turn 1 play for Josh.
Interesting.
Yeah, let's see what he has for turn 2.
Must have a pretty, stacked hand after that if he didn't keep one with...
Yeah, because he knows that he has to put massive pressure on his opponent. So this should be an explosive turn for Josh.
Maybe a couple Burning Tree Emissaries into something?
Yeah, we saw that last time, and it was really, really effective for him. So he has a couple of Vexing Devils floating around in the deck there.
Yeah, that one's good against Conley.
Yes, because Conley doesn't have the option later to just kill it.
Yep.
Most decks can kill that in Modern if they choose.
So Josh plays Burning Tree Emissary into Flint Hoofboar.
Yep. I mean, 5 power on turn 2 is normally really impressive.
Yeah, but against the Eggs deck, I guess Conley didn't suspend a turn 1 Lotus Bloom, which is good. He did
not. Yep. We see that Conley's got an Echoing Truth in hand. Faith's Reward as well.
I assume the Echoing Truth is for Burning Tree Shaman or any other combo breaker, like if there's a Stony Silence that he's splashing, something like that.
Also to just make it so that he doesn't die. Sometimes you just have to Echoing Truth their Goyf or whatever so you don't take the hit.
I see that Josh does have a Tormod's Crypt in his hand. That would be good against Conley if Conley didn't have enough mana to use Echoing Truth on it. So back to Josh Ravitz's turn. as you said, 5 power and 2 more thanks to Goblin Guide, so that's going to be 7. If Conley doesn't want to burn that Echoing Truth, he'll fall to 13 life.
Conjurer's Bubble for Conley Woods is revealed from Goblin Guide, so he's not going to get a chance to draw a land off of that.
He is going to get the chance to draw a Conjurer's Bubble.
He is.
Yep,
Yeah,
Echoing Truth on the Flint Hoof Boar.
Even though he can just replay it, it is going to prevent 3 damage this turn. He does just, in fact, replay it.
So Conley's on 14 life, or 16 life.
There's a fetch land for Conley, though. You know, we do see he has that Wargate in hand. He's going to need to use that Chromatic Sphere in conjunction with a fetch land potentially.
Yeah, but does he
He can
actually
get a
want
Hollowed Fountain?
to use it right now? Like,
No.
you would get a Lotus Bloom, but
Yeah. Now Conley has Seal of Primordium. Is that what I see in his hand?
yes.
What is that for?
I assume for a Tormod's Grip.
Okay.
Right, so if he here fetched for a Breeding Pool or something, then he could play that Seal of Primordium.
Or even just for the Seal of Fire that we saw before.
I mean, that doesn't do too much.
Well, he can force him
Oh,
to use it at a
yeah,
certain time,
yeah.
and then he can go off. We saw in game 1, for those of you just joining us, that Conley was in the process of going off with his eggs deck here, but he was under a bit of pressure from Josh, as Josh had a Seal of Fire.
Wow, Gore-Clan Rampager on the Flint Hoof Board is going to give it +4/+4 and trample.
So that's 11 damage here.
Yeah. Tormod's Crypt and Curdape say go.
All right, so once again, Josh Ravitz has put Conley in the unenviable position of needing to go off on a certain turn here.
But not only that, Josh also has protection in the form of Tormod's Crypt. So
Yeah.
Conley first has to get rid of that Tormod's Crypt and then start going off. I'm not sure he's got enough to do it.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
see what
really
he draws.
rough. Tormod's Crypt will come back from Second Sunrise as well.
Conley's thinking if he wants to crack that fetch land in a turn, but decides not to. Okay, so Conley's got to cast that Seal of Primordium to get rid of the Tormod's Crypt and then start going off.
I mean, I think we're getting a good look at the difference between when Conley gets a Lotus Bloom in play and when he doesn't.
If he had a Lotus Bloom here, I think he's in really, really good shape, right?
Yeah, and he does not have a Lotus Bloom. I believe it's still Conley's or Josh's end step. It was.
Yep. So Conley can, like, play the Ghost Quarter here, crack the Misty, and go cast Seal of Primordium, and then start to try going off. He's a couple mana short, though. Like, a lot of mana.
A lot of mana short, yeah.
He would have to then use Wargate to go get a Lotus Bloom. It's still 3 mana, and hope to draw a Reshape. So he could net some mana, I think. It's really tough.
I think these are the exact same things that Conley is thinking about right now. He knows he has no time.
Yeah, so he needs to draw a Reshape. I think that he's got a chance here. I don't think it's a very good chance, but I think it's a chance. I mean, Josh is still in this position where he's just sitting there, can't really do anything except use that Tormod's Crypt. Okay, so Conley's going to crack that Misty Rainforest. Presumably go get, yeah, there you go, Temple Garden. Good choice. Then he's going to cast Seal of Primordium. Then he's going to want to float a blue mana, use Ghost Quarter on an island to go get another land, and then cast Wargate to go get Lotus Bloom just to increase his count.
Uh-huh.
Cracking the Chromatic Sphere in the process, hopefully drawing something good. A Reshape is what he needs. And then hope to cast the Faith Reward and start to go off again. But he's going to crack a Conjurer's Bauble here. Interesting. I don't know why he did that now as opposed to afterwards. I mean, Josh, you're just giving more fuel to Josh's Tormod's Crypt. But Conley seems experienced with this deck. I'm sure he knows.
Yeah. Conley's deep in the tank here, sitting at 2 life, facing down a ton of stuff. Josh Ravitz is casually flipping his pen back and forth because he doesn't have any decisions right now.
See, this is what I mean by the tight play in eggs is required. Like here, you need to maximize everything.
Yes.
At that point in the combo last game, when we were talking, I mean, like Conley just needed to not, just really, really mess up.
Epically, yeah. And Conley's a quick player. He doesn't play slowly, and even now, though, he's got a really tough thing. All right, so Josh says, hold on a sec. I might want to crypt you.
I don't know.
Those cards that are up above are in Conley's graveyard as well. And
yeah.
Josh does, in fact, use his Tormod's Crypt to take out those 3 artifacts.
So Conley gets 1 draw step. Just make something go here. He gets Lotus Bloom from that War Gate. And now he can crack the Conjurer's Bauble and crack the Lotus Bloom and have enough mana to...
You mean crack the Ghost Quarter and the Lotus Bloom?
Right. But he's got a lot. He gets a lot of mana for his next face reward, but he only is going to draw 1 card.
That's right.
Because of the Conjurer's Bauble.
That's right. He does have a Chromatic Sphere in his hands, which will take a little bit of mana, but he can cycle that too.
Okay. This is bare bones here. Chromatic Sphere draws a Lotus Bloom. That doesn't help him out too much. Ghost Quarter is going to get rid of one of his lands and net him a new land. But he's still sitting on 4 mana, so now he has to cast Faith's Reward.
And that's going to get him back the Ghost Quarter, the Conjurer's Bauble.
The 2 lands.
The 2 lands and the Lotus Bloom. So he'll have a lot of mana, but like you mentioned, he needs to find a way to get through his deck to...
yeah, he doesn't have the mana here to cast that Chromatic Sphere, which would give him 1 more draw, which would be important. But yeah, Faith's Reward. Get back the Bauble and the Lotus Bloom in 2 lands. So let's crack the Conjurer's Bauble. That's your only hope, really, right? First, let's thin our deck a little by using Ghost Quarter. Now he's got, I guess, 2 draw steps to draw another Face Reward. Mm-hmm. If he draws another Face Reward here, I think he's looking...
Well, he's going to have 3 mana there, right?
He's got 4.
Right, but doesn't the Chromatic Sphere cost 1?
But it gets you 1.
Oh, yeah, sure. So he has 2 draw steps, right.
Standard Winnabox Tournament number 12. We're about
After that, it looks a little better for him. Still not great. Like, he's only getting 2 cards each one of these loops.
Players in the Standard Tournament.
So put that back.
Number 12.
He draws a Pithing Needle.
That's not what he wanted.
Certainly not.
Okay, crack Chromatic Sphere.
Yep.
Here it goes.
Add white.
Here's the important... Hold on.
Josh says wait and then just says never mind.
Yeah, reshape. It's not going to do it. I don't think there's anything he can really do here. He can say go, but sitting on 2 life, facing down all that power. I think he's going to go ahead and see a game 3, and that's exactly what happens.
There it is.
Josh ties it up 1 game apiece.
So Josh did his job in both of the first 2 games so far. He has put lethal damage up on the table as soon as he possibly could.
I had no idea what you were doing either. I was like,
against Conley.
get him to use it.
You can see we have a pretty crowded feature match area here. A lot of people love to come around and watch their favorite players.
And we're going to take another look at the Edel-Yukihiro Willie Edel match. So it's tied up at 1 apiece, so it looks like Willie won that previous game that we saw a sneak peek of. But turn 3 Geist of St. Traft here for Edel-Yukihiro.
This Domain Zoo deck can really put a lot of beats down.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got access to every color, you can get the most powerful threats out of each of them. All the while casting these powerful domain spells like Tribal Flames and Might of New Alara.
Ken draws another Geist of St. Traft. He's got a Snapcaster Mage in his hand along with a Lightning Bolt, a Lightning Helix.
Jordan Top. Your tournament is about to begin.
Okay, so Ken's going to use his Lightning Bolt, his flashback with Snapcaster on the Raging Ravine.
It's only a 3/3 until it attacks. In this case, it was going to be blocking. Ken knew that was coming, though. He had a plan for it. That's going to leave his Geist of St. Traft still alive, and it's also going
Players in the 3 p.m.
let
standard,
Whittley
your
take
round
6
4
damage here.
pairings and standings after round 3 are posted.
Willie's got Deathrite Shaman, and at a
Once
three
again,
top
players
village.
in the 3 p.m. modern. Your pairings for round 4 and standings
And
after
for Ken,
round
he's going to
3
battle
are
with everybody.
posted.
Willie's going to go for a trade.
And a lightning bolt will finish Willie Edel off. Edel-Yukihiro wins round 7 here at San Diego over Willie Edel. And we're going to try to go back and see the final game of Conley Woods versus Josh Ravitz.
Yep. This match is tied 1 game apiece. Conley took down the first one after he was able to go off facing lethal damage and a seal of fire. He was able to fight through those things and win anyway. Josh Ravitz, however, put enough pressure on Conley in game 2 that he was not able to go off. He would have liked at least another turn to develop his board.
Yeah.
And Josh
and for
very
Josh not to
rudely
have
told
the-
him no.
The Tormouth script.
That's right.
It seems tough for Conley after board against Josh's deck. There's quite a bit of power. So I'm looking at Josh's hand. It looks pretty good. It got
looks
2
sweet.
Goblin's Guides and a Vexing Devil.
Yep.
I think that there's a 2-drop.
So you just go like turn 1 Vexing Devil, turn 2 Goblin Guides.
Yeah, I'm trying to think which is more damage. If you go
He takes 8 on turn 2 if you do it that way.
as opposed to 8 on turn 2.
Yeah, it's just,
Because Conley's going to pay the 4 life, right?
yes. So
Magic players in the
I guess you give him 1 less
event.
activation on the Goblin
Pair,
that way.
tables
You
for
deal 2,
seating
4,
are
5,
for
6. You
building
deal
are
10
up.
on turn 2 if you play Vexing Devil on the second turn. If he's going to pay regardless, right?
Oh yeah, you're right. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 4, and then he's going to pay anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
So 2 extra damage, another activation of the Goblin Guide. I don't know if
I don't
Josh
think-
thinks
I mean,
that
it-
Conley's going to necessarily completely pay, but you have to imagine, right?
Probably.
Like, even if that Vexing Devil can get in one more time, like, it's worth it, right? More than once. If there's any chance.
Conley's going to take a mulligan here. He's going to go down to 6. See if he has a keeper. He does. He's got a Chromatic Star, and he is going to suspend a Lotus Bloom. So a good start for Conley.
Yeah, on a mull to 6.
Yep. So let's see what Josh wants to do here. So 2 choices on 1 drop, so you can start off with. And it's going to be a Goblin Guide and an attack. It's going to, ooh,
Second Sunrise.
reveal a second Sunrise.
Josh passes the turn back to Conley. Now Conley is going to, he draws the second Sunrise. He's going to cast Sleight of Hand here. Build his hand. Well, he's going to have to take a Lotus Bloom.
Which isn't really what he wants here, right?
No, he wanted like another Bauble, a Chromatic Star,
Yeah.
something like that. Elsewhere Flask. He's going to suspend that Lotus Bloom.
Because why not?
Yeah, might as well see how much time Josh allots him.
So his hand is land, second Sunrise, so he really does need a draw engine to start going here.
Yeah, Josh is going to play Stomping Grounds, untap, take 2, and cast Vexing Devil and Goblin Guide.
Yeah.
Well, Vexing Devil after combat. But
So Reshape is going to get revealed twice here. That can again get Conley ahead a little bit on lands, but he really wants, or on mana, but he really wants a draw engine to go with his potential second Sunrise.
oh, well, Josh plays the Curd Ape here. Which is interesting, because if he had played the Vexing Devil, like 100% Conley pays the life.
Mm-hmm.
But if he plays it next turn, because a Lotus Bloom will become unsuspended the following turn, there's a chance that Conley doesn't pay the
Just
life.
says, yeah, you can have it because
Right.
you're not getting another turn anyway.
Right.
Yeah, that is interesting. Why do you think Josh did that?
I think that Josh thinks that Conley's not going to be able to go off the following turn.
I see. And so he's like, well, because this is more damage.
Right.
Right, so Josh has Vexing Devil here.
So is Conley going to pay the 4 life?
He says,
Nope, not going to pay the 4 life. Josh is going to attack him for 6. And
whoa, 2 lands in a row for Conley.
Okay. And Josh is going to use Gorkline Rampager to make that 10 damage, dropping Conley to 4. So had Conley paid that 4 life on the Vexing Devil, he would be dead here.
He would absolutely be dead.
So Conley has to go off again. We're in the same situation where Conley goes off, and wins, or passes the turn back and loses.
That's right. So again, Josh has done his job. He showed up, put a ton of pressure on Conley, and Conley really has, he's had a pretty smooth game here considering the fact that he's only getting 6. He has his Lotus Bloom that just came off of suspend. It's in play. He's got another one that's suspended that's not going to be relevant this game. And he's got a Chromatic Star in hand. Now he does have Second Sunrise in hand, but he just doesn't have a great way to churn through his deck and start drawing cards.
Yeah, with this Eggs deck, there's 2 things when you're comboing off that you need. You need mana on the one hand, on the other hand you need card draw in the form of baubles, stars, those types of things.
Yep.
And it's really awkward when you're short on mana.
He's actually going to reshape for a bauble or something here.
Right, right. When you're short on mana, it seems a little easy to just, tread water on a couple mana, but you really, really need the cards.
Yes.
I mean, you ideally want both halves of it, but
that's
you feel so much more stunted if you don't have the cards.
Yeah, that's how this deck gets that momentum going forward, where it can start drawing a few, and then it hits that threshold where it's like it can just draw forever. Right now, he is having a hard time getting the engine started on that sequence here, but he's starting to push that forward with that bauble. He also had that Chromatic Star. That's going to be in the yard now. And he draws a Faith's Reward here. So now he has 2 ways to go off. So things are progressing for him.
Yeah. He's going to cast Faith's Reward. Presumably.
Second Sunrise floating a blue. All right, so again, he's got 2 ways to draw here.
Yeah, a lot of mana, only 2 pieces of card draw.
So he needs to find some momentum right now.
So it draws 1 Pithing Needle.
Pithing Needle again. Super annoying card. He must just have not much else for this matchup.
He's going to shuffle back his deck.
So he gets to draw off the Chromatic Star here, right? And then he's going to Second Sunrise.
Yeah, I mean, he's got
so
a couple.
So he's got a couple rotations here with which to put something together, but he really needs to start drawing some of those cantrip artifacts, the artifacts that let you draw a card when they either
another Faith's Reward.
Okay.
So another churn through he'll get. Still only drawing 2 per though.
Conley is at 4 life, facing down Josh Ravitz with tons of power on the board, way more than lethal. Even a couple of cards in hand still.
Attention Magic players in the Ravnica Gate Crash sealed. Your final
okay, there's one.
There's
a
6 rounds are being
Chromatic
posted.
Sphere.
You'll have 5 minutes to review.
So it's another card he gets to draw each loop.
Again, you mentioned earlier, Ben, the mana is not an issue. He's got that Ghost Quarter, which he's able to generate mana with, and of course the Lotus Blooms are powering the recursion effects with Second Sunrise and Faith's Reward, but the card draw is there. Now he's got 2 of them going. He's got another one in the yard with that Conjurer's Bauble. So he's starting to gain some momentum here.
Yep.
He knows he has to finish the game on this turn. If he does not finish and win this game on this turn, he does not win this match. Both players at 6-0.
Guild merchandise.
And there's an Elsewhere flask, so that's going to help again.
Yeah, Conley only has that last Faith's Reward in his hand, so he gets 1 more loop, and then he needs another Faith's Reward to keep going off, or another Second Sunrise.
Okay.
So draws another Elsewhere flask, it looks like, or maybe another land.
I think it was a land, yeah.
Okay.
Josh stopped him for a second, but then they continued. Okay, there's a Second Sunrise. So we're moving forward slowly here. If you're Conley Woods, the pieces are starting to come together, and the momentum is definitely starting to favor him.
So I think it's getting very, very close.
Yeah, it's starting to feel like it's getting to be, with that draw,
yeah,
in Conley's favor. You can also get a sense of urgency from his motions, or at least I can.
So Conley's going to use Ghost Quarter here to get itself.
Conley's asking if he can target itself.
Which he can, but I don't know why he'd want to. Because he wants another.
He wants more of those in the yard.
Thing to die.
So it looks like he's out of basics.
Attention players.
He didn't find one to put into play.
So
he's got a bunch in his hand.
If you signed up for 6 p.m. Mini Masters,
that's kind of bad news for Josh, right? He's out of basics. He's out of live draws. Okay, so another Faith's Reward. I think now that's the tip.
That was kind of the one, right?
Although still, it's Magic. Anything can happen.
Oh, absolutely. And Josh is going to make sure that everything, I can see that Josh is keeping tabs on what Conley's doing. He just saw him say, hey, I want to shuffle your deck, and hey, make sure you go at a pace where I can keep up as well. And, of course, Josh knows what's going on here. All right, Conley just drew a Conjurer's Bauble, so he really does have a lot of momentum going forward here. He's got an Echoing Truth in his hand. It's not going to do anything here.
Yeah, it could bounce the Vexing Devil. Still not very effective.
Get that blocker out of the way. Second Sunrise resolves. And all of a sudden, he's got a 5. Now he's drawing 5 per rotation. And this is where it starts to really get there. Was
Blind
that Blind
Obedience?
Ah, that's interesting. Quite good versus Josh, especially on the play.
Yeah. I mean, if Conley fizzles, he can hold up 4 mana and cast both of the Echoing Truths in his hand to bounce Goblin Guide during the attack step and Vexing Devil. And if Josh has nothing, not a burn spell, then he can survive a turn. But I think at this point, obviously, Conley's looking
to win.
Just go off and win.
That is interesting, though, because I don't know how many people would keep that in mind. You kind of get your eyes on the prize when you're going off here.
If you signed up for Two-Headed Giant Draft, please meet at the side event stick.
But, yep, going through the motions for Conley.
Conley's got a full grip here, and that's just going to get bigger. Oh.
I don't think that matters.
I don't think it matters either. Josh kind of raised his hand a little minute, but I don't think it is really that big of a deal.
In Conley's deck, they're effectively the same card. Okay. So one more face reward. All those artifacts coming back into play.
So that's, again, 5.
In response, the Elster's Flasks enter the battlefield trigger. Conjurer's Bauble is going to shuffle back.
Chromatic Sphere for Conley Woods. And Conley just takes a quick look and then remembers, oh yeah, I don't have any basics.
Right, but it's good that he shuffled because of the Conjurer's Bauble on the Fates Reward. It will allow him to perhaps draw it over again.
That's right. And as you can see, the way this is going to go is he's going to be drawing more and more cards per rotation. There's going to be fewer and fewer in his library. And eventually, he's just going to be drawing Pyrite Spell Bombs and Faith's Rewards, and then he will win. Reshape for Conley Woods. Still has 3 cantrips on the board, at least 2 more in hand.
I think, though, for Conley, he's only netting 1 mana each rotation, so he doesn't have a ton of mana.
Okay. Right, because...
But now with that reshape, he is going to be able to get a Lotus Bloom, which will start netting him... A second Lotus Bloom will start netting him a ton of mana.
Yeah.
3 each rotation, to be exact. And 1 mana this rotation. So now I think that it's...
Now he has every piece of the... he can now start netting huge amounts of mana. The card draws there. He's got about 7, maybe 8
right. I mean,
cantrip artifacts now.
The bottleneck with the mana was that it stopped him from casting the cantrip artifacts that he's drawn so far. But now that he's got the extra mana, he just needs to not whiff on... Does he not have a face reward in his hand? I thought he did. No.
Wow, does he not?
So he just...
That's a blind obedience.
He needs really badly now.
So
I didn't see that.
I didn't either. So now he's got his Serum Visions here. That's going to cost him 1 mana. Okay, there's...
Second Sunrise on top, which
but he needs to have enough floating mana to cantrip for it.
And I think he had 4. I think he had 4 mana.
Okay.
So now he's going to cast that, go to 3 mana, filter the mana, draw Second Sunrise, and cast
that was
it.
close.
Wow, that was really close.
And Josh, you see his hand go up yep, you did it. Wow. So that was really, really close, actually.
Yeah, I thought he was holding a second one, or another
this deck's
one.
really hard to follow.
Yeah.
Conley
Especially when your hand
really
becomes...
quickly too. Yeah, when you've got 15 cards in hand.
It's a lot easier in Moto. You just hit the F6 button and go downstairs, get a burger.
That's sandwich time. All right, shuffle in that Second Sunrise, and it looks like Conley has this one locked up. We're going to stay with you guys here and just make sure that Conley finishes the combo Once Josh sees that Conley has actual infinite on the table, he'll concede, but he's not going to concede until that point. We saw him do that in game 1.
Yeah. So Conley is showing Josh his hand. And there's the hand.
And there it is. So Conley Woods playing second sunrise combo / eggs, whatever you want to call it. He's able to get past Josh Ravitz and his green-red aggro.
Wow, that's a